One ready?
Valley lodging facility with Woody closest kid. The lot, you mean, that's right. The area served that they say is a lot of facilities. You want to get? He said that you take out. I'm dealing with the one in,
I just wanted to get those.
this, well, it's in Pleasant Valley. It's a high park address.
Everyone, sorry about that. As usual, computers making our lives easier. So, calling the April Planning Board meeting to order. The first item up on the agenda is the Stissing House site plan review. Where are we at with this now? Nathan, we haven't
Yes,
seen you
hi.
in like a couple of months, right? So where are we at? Remind me.
So I'm just waiting for you guys to. I'd sent a link to the dark sky potential approvable lights via email. I think it was a while back now, because sorry, I was ill at the last meeting. I think I'd sent this.
Yes. All right. So,
Yeah,
and
so
he asked the question, yeah, did we ever get like the height of the poles and all that sort of thing? That was
16
the only-
foot. No, 12 foot. They were going to be 12 foot from the ground. Sorry, 3 lights total.
So, and George, you had a chance to review
Yeah.
and
That's good.
and that model is the proper Kelvin and dark sky.
I don't remember if I looked at the Kelvin. I usually look at the foot candles and the pole height.
Yeah, it's 3000 Kelvin was
Okay.
the temperature, which I think is the dark sky
Yeah, it is dark sky.
specific. Yeah. Okay, so I can go ahead and order them and get them switched out with the ones that are currently.
We have to approve.
Okay, but I mean, what I'm saying is, if you approve it, that like I can go ahead and get that sorted out. I mean, is there anything else I need to do?
Is there a sketch indicating where these are
There was
going?
a sketch. Originally, there was a sketch.
There was a sketch.
Yeah.
Remember?
Then they said
Wesley let him
certified
use it
and
on.
everything.
Yeah.
But different.
Okay. All right, so Warren, you're fine with this? So
Yeah, I'll just do a resolution for the next meeting, but if you can orally approve it tonight and give me direction to draft a resolution.
okay, I mean, we can't do a verbal resolution when we good enough for this, or do you think maybe so?
Well, you know, you can vote on, I mean,
Yeah, let
Hanging
them,
around.
let them go.
let them go and, subject to, you know, finalize the resolution at that.
Okay. So can I have a motion to approve the light fixtures and the placements? In the parking lot as per the sketch and the specs that we were given. Pending an official, written resolution for next month.
Yes. Second.
Let's, yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
I do recuse.
Are you recusing?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
We got enough though.
all right. So we have one recusal and all ayes. And I understand you've been in touch with Ed. Ed had some, issues regarding the dumpster area.
Yeah, Ed emailed me this morning. I called our sanitation company. We're getting a dumpster delivered on the 21st, which will be in the car park for a week, and we're going to get all that stuff. Get rid of that. It's also good because we're doing a big spring cleaning in the basement, so we're just going to do it all in one go.
And
So that'll be cleared up.
And for the future to keep the dumpster area, you know.
Yeah, I spoke to our crew today about it, and I was like, guys, what are you doing? So it's not
Okay.
happening again.
Okay, great. Ed, satisfied? Okay. Okay. All right, thank you.
All
Good luck
right,
with
thanks
the
a lot.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Take care. And, be in touch with them regarding, build. And that's the sign, eventually the sign. Schematic.
West to use
The site plans, the sign.
Oh.
Schematic, yeah.
So I see west.
All right, so next up on the agenda is the Hudson Company.
So she's busting.
So who's here? Hello.
Karen Labruto, from Labella Associates, here with Jamie Hamill, our applicant, and Dan Leary, the attorney.
Hello.
So we recently received, the consulting engineer's comments, and, we didn't get them in advance, enough to, revise the plan, so we don't have revised plans up for you yet. This is just the prior presentation that she was showing. We did want to give you some updates. Outside of that, we have started the coordination with the Department of Public Works. We have 3 accesses proposed there on County Route 83, and they're considering, the viability of those. So we'll continue that coordination. They've already copied the secretary here, and so you guys will be aware of that. We also had DOH out to the site, I think it was yesterday, to witness the soil testing for the septic system. And they were consistent with our prior tests, so that was great news.
Okay.
Aside from that, we are also consulting with Crawford Associates, who will undertake the wetland delineation and the consultation with DEC for the jurisdictional determination to determine whether they will take jurisdiction of the wetlands on site or not. At this time, we anticipate they will not, but we'll find out. Aside from that, I don't know what your usual procedure is, whether you guys go through the consulting engineer's comments. There are a couple that we wanted to address.
Please. What was the issues the highway department had? County highway?
We weren't thrilled with the 3 accesses. We have 3 right now. So
Oh, you have 2 right now.
we have 3.
You have 3.
3 proposed.
3 proposed.
Oh, 3 proposed. Okay, but right now there's 2. Okay.
So we, that was not part of a formal submittal to them. We haven't submitted the technical plans to them yet. That was just the response to the lead agency letter. So, they had that initial response, and we'll submit our plans, and we'll get their formal comments, and then we'll address them.
They didn't give you an idea why they weren't.
I mean, I think in general, most agencies want to reduce the number of curb cuts on a single road. In our defense, we certainly find that it's necessary to separate the access between those visiting and the truck access that's going in and out of there. It's a warehouse and a
Right.
mill. It's an operation. And then the third access was really for the beautification of the site. You know, the whole idea is to draw visitors in, you know, clients into the showroom area, which you guys have seen is, you know, positioned at the corner of 82 and 83. You know, it's part of the aesthetic look, was this third access that really brings you in. It controls the circulation of that person's experience, right? And then they're kind of taken through the consultation with Jamie and all of them through the building and exposed to what the mill and manufacturing is. So it's part of the aesthetic. So we'll see where it goes from there.
All right, so can we just scroll? Yeah. Yeah, all right.
So I don't know, George, if you want to present your own copies or comments, or you want me to paraphrase them?
Yeah, you can paraphrase. I don't think there's gonna be many changes, noticeable changes to the site plan based on them. They're mostly
okay,
technical.
So yeah, the first comment, you know, I think is relating to Jamie's discussion about potential other ideas he had for the site at the last meeting. I think that he was excited to present, you know, his new building and operation over there. But in further discussions, we decided we really need to stick to the operation at hand, which is why he's moving there. So we are not doing any sort of art gallery events at this time. That's definitely not part of the project. So we wanted to remove that that question. Number 2, it's recommended that a jurisdictional determination be made by the state DEC, Department of Environmental Coordination. And so, like I said, we're doing that through Crawford Associates. Number 3, proposed construction will have an impact on adjoining wetlands. Okay, so George is objecting to how close our grading is happening in adjacency to the wetlands. Understood. You know, we're at preliminary design right now. Once we get the full delineation done and the jurisdictional determination from DEC, we will know where we stand. So we will be working to pull disturbance away from there and understand your concern there. Number 4, it's his understanding that the DPW, Department of Public Works, Highway Department, may be requiring revision of what we were just talking about. We proposed 3 accesses. They likely may not approve all 3. Number 5, recommended that correspondence from the county's Department of Health speaks about the suitability of the, you mind scrolling down a little bit, about the septic system proposed and any potential environmental permits that may be required to connect to the expansion. So we have a primary system that's proposed, generally speaking, at the corner of Route 83 and Route 82, though you won't be able to tell from the beautiful landscaping. The expansion system, which you know, which is required, will be at the northeast corner of the site, closer to Stewart's. It's an expansion system. In order to get to it, the line has to be what they call directionally drilled beneath the stream there. It's common practice to avoid any stream impacts. It has to be 6 feet below. We've done it multiple times in adjacency to wetlands and streams for other projects. We will have to provide all of that detail explicitly as part of our DOH submittal, and any required permits will become clear at that point, though we don't anticipate any now. Number 6, recommended that the design engineer provide analysis of the existing footbridge and culvert of the existing footbridge. So there's an existing pedestrian bridge currently between, you know, where those wooden shacks are and the property with the existing warehouse. And okay, so analysis of that footbridge and then also the culvert and head wall. So then there's also a vehicular connection, and that's what they're talking about there. Okay, the analysis should speak to the hydraulic capacity as well as structural capacity of said structures. So I think Dan was going to address some aspect of that comment.
Right, so I understand that with respect to a hydraulic study that, you know, is quite quite an undertaking. And what we have submitted is stormwater reports and calculations that show that we're actually going to be, the flow is actually going to be less than what exists now under there. So I guess our question is, what would that accomplish? Can we talk to you about that? You know, to see if that can be worked out.
Shouldn't be a
because
big deal.
We can, you know, have a discussion with the engineer about it. But we did have a question about that, and we're hoping to maybe do if more design calculations or other ways to address it than, you know, a hydraulic undertaking.
Yeah, so this relates to number 6 and number 10. So number 10 talks about, the culvert on Route 82 that's controlled by the DOT. So the stormwater for the site is, it's outletted all to the stream within the site, which then outlets to, or outfalls to the Route 82 culvert. As required by New York State law, we have to reduce stormwater discharge, to at least maintain it at the existing condition, if not reduce it. In this instance, our stormwater calculations prove that we're actually reducing the stormwater flows from the existing conditions because they have no stormwater practices. So that being said, we're not adding flow to the culvert at DOT's 82 or to the culvert on the stream. So as Dan says, you know, because we're not adding flow, we really would not want to do a hydraulic analysis, and instead would suggest maybe we could add some design points at the culvert, on the stream on the site, and maybe some other locations to further prove out that we're not increasing the flow. So I don't want to put you on the spot. Maybe our engineer could talk with George offline.
I don't even think it's a town issue, which is why I was just recommending again,
Okay,
because if anything, it's a DOT issue.
Right. And
I
and the DOT,
Again, if they have an issue with the traffic or that's their structure, it's not our structure. You know what I mean? If they're good with it, we're good with it. I mean, if the board wants to discuss it, and again, these comments are.
How would we
offered
find
for
out
your
if they're
use.
good with it?
You'd have to ask. I don't know. Maybe there's nothing, maybe there's no issue at all. I'm just trying to cover all the bases.
Yeah.
So again, if everybody, I mean, again, I don't live here, right? I don't drive past that culvert. I don't know if there's any issues with it at all. Maybe it's perfect. Maybe it's got plenty of capacity. Obviously, from a stormwater standpoint, you do have to match or slightly reduce flows. So I mean, that's a valid argument, but I think what would need to happen procedurally is this is lead agency, right? Not me. So these comments are offered for your use and your deliberations and your decision. I don't supersede you guys in any way, shape, or form. I don't take offense if you add or subtract from a comment. If you guys feel that it doesn't need to be addressed for some reason, like in other words, local knowledge that, hey, there's never been an issue there, George, and if they're meeting or reducing flows there shouldn't be an issue, then that's a valid decision for the board to make.
Well, how does this, they would approach DOT and say, this is our plans, or what
Is
do
there
you
a
think about
plan?
this?
What do you think? Yeah. That's what I'm just saying is that I don't want someone to say we didn't look at it or we didn't talk about it, right? So, but again, if you guys know the site better than I do, you know the area better than I do. It's just
And what is your worry about doing that?
well, I guess the issue is this, the DOT does not have jurisdiction over this project. It's not an involved agency. It doesn't have any kind of approval authority.
and we have
Over
no
the project.
permits needed from.
We don't need a permit from them, so we're asking an agency, a jurisdiction that
they would be an interested agency if lead agency thought they needed to be involved. There's potentially, you know, I'm not making the case one way or the other is what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's a potential issue that potentially could be an issue or not. I don't personally have a dog in the fight one way or the other.
Doesn't this protect the applicant? Like, if you go and start doing this project and all of a sudden DOT shows up and like, what are you guys doing here? And like, you know, this is water coming through this culvert, it's too much, and then, you know, then you're in problems.
well, we're not concerned about it because I think we're gonna have less discharge into that.
Greg, we're
into the
following
DOT
the
culvert, so-
state's law for drainage
Right.
design. So we're basically doing everything the state tells us to do. And we don't need any permits or approvals from the DOT. There's really no reason for them to be involved. If in time they find that they have a flow problem, then they have an absolute right to come to us, you know, but if, you know, it's like we're,
So what do you worry about happening if you go to them?
Well, I
It's
mean,
just-
interacting
they
with
take a long
DOT is
time.
not a small, yeah, it's not a small endeavor. You know, and we're not the cause of any existing condition issue, right? So if we are not changing the existing condition and in fact are lessening the flow, then we don't want to be put in the position of having to potentially remediate an issue that we haven't caused and that we're not worsening, especially when we have no reason to go to DOT. So in my experience on other projects, we're not consulting DOT unless we have a permit or approval that's required from them.
My questions would be, if you're building another building, two buildings, reducing the amount of ground that is gonna be absorbing water and doing some paving, that water is water that otherwise would be soaking into the ground to some degree. How can you say that we're gonna reduce the flow into the swale there and through the culvert?
It's all in the engineering. There are actual redevelopment practice. It starts a redevelopment site by DEC's regulations, which gives it some privileges. But it is, we have,
Jump in?
let me just write it down.
They actually are infiltrating.
Yeah,
We are
they have-
infiltrating.
They
we
have several infiltration bases
Okay.
proposed. So those things that look like a bunch of concentric, circles, for lack of a better word,
Okay.
those are infiltration basins. So those are collecting the
I
stormwater
want to hear.
and it's going back into the ground. It's going back into the ground.
Which is what the state requires. And
So-
before you do anything,
So yeah,
they
they're
want to
doing the
drain
swip.
it.
Yeah,
On your,
Makes sense.
not adding to the.
like I said, it's just a comment for the board to consider. I mean, personally, it's happened to me twice, unfortunately, once in the private sector. And once when I didn't make the comment for a planning board and the DOT jumped all over us. They didn't have a permit. We weren't on a DOT road, but we were close and we approved it. And the DOT went crazy. They even sent people to the town board to say your planning board should have sent it to us. It went so far that I got called to Region 8 and I had to tell them, well, how close is too close? Because I'll bury you in applications with all the towns I represent. So I'm very cautious since then, got my hand slapped. But like I said, ultimately, it's a planning board decision as lead agency, whether or not you think there is no permit officially, so they would be interested, not involved. But if you think there's no issue there, there's never been flooding there, you guys have never seen the DOT there after big events, clearing out the culvert, or anything silly that would make you think there's any sort of an issue, then I think you would be well within your rights to say, we hear you, George, we understand the potential. We don't see it in this case, if that was your opinion, and you could just move on.
Warren,
I'm okay with that. I mean, if you, abundance of caution, if you want to contact the DOT and see if they want to get involved in this. We didn't send them a lead agency.
Yeah, because they're not involved,
Because they're not involved.
but they would be interested at that point.
You know,
But again, if you guys don't know of any issues like that, don't suspect there are any of those issues, then we're trying to prove a negative. Right?
Wasn't the flow rate messed with a few years ago anyway, when they dug the stream out
I think
and never
I think they just opened the stream up a little bit and kind of
widened the
down
bed?
slightly, but I don't think the flow is very slow. I don't know if it flows at all, but I know it does, but.
I've definitely never seen any flooding.
Minimally.
No.
Oh. It's relatively flat here. There's not much.
So it just goes under the road and comes out like by the sign, by the Mountain View sign?
Yeah, yeah, between the house,
So let's go between Mountain View and.
the house.
Yeah, they're all
on
there.
Right along their property line.
And then it flows into,
Goes to the lake
goes
eventually.
to the lake, right? It Flows into the water.
Goes on the back end of Old Orchard and down that way.
That doesn't matter, does it? That it flows into the Wappinger. All right,
Get through all the points.
so keep going now, we're thinking on that.
So 7, 8, and 9 are all, kind of, simple, requests for additional information within the stormwater pollution prevention plan, which was the big engineering report we were just talking about that proves out our flow. And then number 11 is that you all record that he recommends a noise study be prepared and submitted to the board for review. And we consulted with somebody from SLR, I think it was yesterday, and are working on, providing the noise impact analysis.
You already received the letter about. Clean the public.
Oh, okay. Can you tell us more?
Well, it'll be in the record, just, what do we look at the noise levels in the middle, and it's gonna be right here near homes, blah, 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 they hear wood, so they figure sawing, planing, and, which can be quite loud, so. And, as I mentioned to Jamie, the doors are gonna be open, they're gonna be closed, that all makes a difference, right? So. Address those things.
Yes. Yeah, we talked about an hour long with an acoustical engineer, and so we've got lots of good input, on how to mitigate sound. But so yeah, we'll get the analysis done. There will be suggested mitigations, and we can. That's it for the comments.
See that? Easy peasy.
Yeah, so I don't know, I did actually want to just see, now that you've had a little bit more time to review the application, if there were any questions about the lot line change that was proposed.
No.
Okay, because that is the part of the application that following the secret determination, we're hoping to move apart from site plan and special use permit and hopefully be able to approve the lot line change before anything else after the secret determination to get that deal closed. Lack of a better way of putting it.
And wait, you're not going, are you going to something for the ZBA for something?
We'll be going to zoning board of appeals.
So Warren, remind me again the order of things.
I think I have to go to the ZBA and get their variances first. I mean, are we declaring lead agency?
Oh yeah, did we hear from everyone?
Yeah, we were a few days off from the 30-day period, and we did not hear from DEC
Right.
in the interim.
DEC.
Yeah, the New York State DEC, all the other involved agencies responded and had no objection. I mean, I'm predicting that.
Yeah, I'm sure they won't, but they never get the letter.
But they haven't gotten back, and we haven't, the 30 days has not elapsed since the last meeting, so I'm sure that we'll get that, or we don't get it, and after 30 days you can do it anyway. But right now, I guess that's still out there, right? You didn't get anything from that.
Mm-hmm.
And then once SECRA is done, once the lead agency has concluded SECRA, then we can go to the ZBA. They can't act before that's done.
They can consider it before.
Yeah, I mean, we could have you can go a work session, hold up a final decision. Right.
Yeah, they've done that before, so I would do that.
Yeah.
Not that they're probably not going to be a large barrier.
Yeah, so we'll coordinate with Warren, but just to confirm what the what the variances they are set forth on our table on our
In the bulk table on the
sheet.
site plan.
Yeah, so on the site plan, but we can do that and then go to them and get a mood read, I guess, before they formally act on it.
Yeah, I think that my intention was to submit to the ZBA before too long. I think we wanted to see where we landed a little bit with the DPW as far as access fees go. Because that might alter the configuration moderate, in a minor sort of way, should we have to remove one of the access points. Just to make sure that all our variances are firm before we submit to them.
Can I see the sketch? Please. The site plan.
Yeah, and I would try like page 13, GB. Okay. Oh yeah, it's past the right directions. So you come, gotcha. Okay, yeah, that's the site plan right there.
So the driveway's there. So the current building's one on the right, right?
Yep, the one that has the hatch lines, the solid gray buildings are the new ones.
Which two are existing?
The existing is in the center of the tree sense.
Sorry about that.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Right,
this is,
that's existing.
this is the warehouse, this is the proposed mill. There's a connection between the two. This is a shed structure. And this is a shed structure, and then this is the showroom building here.
I thought you said there were already two access points on 80.
So I believe that there was an access point here and an access point here, but we could go back to the survey, which I think is maybe.
No, there's an access point over
Yeah.
here
Oh,
on
is it
this side.
This one?
Yes,
Yeah.
that one,
Okay.
and then one behind
Okay.
somewhere.
So the left
You
and the
guys
middle
know.
ones that are shown there are the existing.
Close to them, yeah.
Yeah, the survey's in here if we want to peek at that a little closer, but.
The first look there.
So, yeah. It's kind of a plan.
You're actually moving them. Both of the curb cuts are on the front of the building.
What? Isn't there one in there's not one in the back?
No,
Yeah, I mean, we are
Looks
yes,
like
we
it,
are
but-
relocating them for sure.
there's your first curb cut where they'll put the walls up and there's
Mhm.
your second curb cut.
Trisha, do you mind putting it on,
It's like
I
it
don't know,
used to be
page
back here,
3?
but
Yeah,
Can you zoom in?
okay, all right. Well, you
No,
can put it on
oh,
this one.
Yeah, there's no.
And then if you zoom in,
I could have sworn I was on the right.
me too.
It's a lot of.
right, so there's yeah, these are the two existing access points
On that one
here
side, right?
and
So you're
here.
eliminating one and putting two behind.
Right.
Yeah,
Further away from the intersection.
More closest to 80.
yeah.
So if they say, no, we can't, no matter what, like they don't approve one of the ones in the back, what are you gonna do?
Well, I mean. I don't know. I guess I don't, at first glance, I don't think it's a major, modification to the site plan. I don't know which one they dislike exactly. I think it's more that they just didn't want 3.
Right.
But this is important, the exit over here, it's obviously the farthest from the beautiful showroom over here. So, I mean, I think there would be one here and one here if it was me, but I'm not,
But there's one existing already, is that not?
no, but
accurate?
it's being modified, its location.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it loses its grandfathered ability when it gets shifted. The only thing we can claim is, hey, we already had 2, don't let us lose those.
Yeah.
The two on the bottom are just so the truck can make a loop.
I understand.
A 100-point turn.
Right.
Right. It makes perfect sense.
Right, so, without the 2 dedicated for the truck loop, then the truck is sharing the access way with,
Right.
visitors and employees. So we'll be making all these arguments.
Aye. Okay. George, is there anything else that we need to talk about?
Not that I'm aware of.
Warren?
Looks good. Who are you using for your noise thing?
Damien, his last name, do you remember it? At SLR, same Damien. We worked with him on Cornerstone, actually.
Yeah.
And I've worked with him on other projects as well.
Anyone else have any questions?
What's the increase of traffic gonna be like? Because I imagine it's a lot of truck traffic. Maybe not a lot, that's a subjective term, but
So based on the ITE generation for employees, it's 26 trips in the AM and 27 trips in the PM, which is very far below the 100 trip threshold per AM or per PM that's set by the seeker thresholds.
and that's a majority employee traffic.
Right, well, it's majority employee traffic. It captures some visitorship. The truck trips, let's see, there's a 50-foot truck trip. It comes, a 50-foot tractor trailer that's 4 times a day, and 1 box truck 1 time a day.
15 to 4 times.
Is there any concern over the intersection of Route 83 and Route 82 with visibility? Because that's a horrible intersection.
That would be something the county would speak to when they look at their driveway applications.
Right, they'll require site distance measurements from where the access points are onto County Route 83. They'll want to look at the truck, the number of truck trips, the number of vehicular trips, and they'll make an assessment based on that.
Turning onto 82.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is it is 35 miles per hour there.
It's reduced just before that.
Which no one does.
Whoa, come on now.
So the operation gonna be.
That's how
5 or
brakes
6
start
days a
to
week?
apply.
It is 6 days a week as of now. It's proposed to be, I think they're milling until about noon on Saturday. And operations start at what time, Jamie? At
6 or 7.
6 or 7 during the week and end around 5,
4:30.
4:30 during the week.
And on the weekend?
Is it,
Saturday, we have like a skeleton crew, usually about 2 vehicles, 3 vehicles, and it's about 7 to noon, 12:30.
One.
So we
Not
can't
to,
declare, was that?
Not to break team with Karen, but we don't have 4 tractor trailers today. I think,
oh, maybe I got those notes wrong then.
yeah, could be like 4.
My information comes from him, since
Yeah.
it's his operation, so please clarify.
Each? Oh, that's a.
That's a lot better.
There could be 1 week where there's 6 and 1 week where there's 0.
Yes,
It's
that is
not every
much
day.
better.
And
We
where,
have our own truck that comes and go, leaves at 4:30, 6 in the morning, 4:30, 5:30 in the morning, it comes back. Yeah,
that's a box truck
yeah,
Okay, so that's.
Where
the
does
one
that go?
thing.
makes deliveries.
all
to-
over. So it could be going south, it could be going north.
Yeah.
And the tractor trailer, where's that come from?
Wherever the barn
Wherever.
is coming down,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, Ohio.
Oh, yeah, so it can be from anywhere else. Oh, well, I guess, we just have to wait so we can declare lead agency at this point, right? And then we can start working on the seeker. Right, so, and then nothing else we can do, so. All right.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. So back to that issue, what do you guys think about this DOT thing?
The drain water,
Yeah,
I don't have any.
Negligible.
For
Yeah, I don't.
it.
so
I'm with George.
there you go.
I'm with
So
George.
you don't have to go to DOT.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thanks, Dan.
Okay. Have a good evening.
All right, you too. Next up,
It's gonna be well.
Oh, I didn't really know it's where people saw. Oh, when I'm getting a friend, when you start doing nothing. As long as it's inside the doors. Be a full way.
well, you might have to-
Yes, you have to.
Kind of reasonable distance.
Yeah.
People complain about every.
Charlie Wesley.
Anyone out there still have license? Mine says.
Yeah,
There's a few over here.
Well, we must have it.
Solar power?
The gas account?
The other day,
Yeah.
like 2 weeks ago. What are they gonna do? What? What?
Went on and then I stopped.
I'm like, they did it all. It's like, I've never. Every much I do.
Okay, next up is the Upstate Pines Dispensary. Who's representing?
Do you have to recuse?
Ryan, if you could come over here
So
and would you like something pulled up on the screen to speak to? Or?
I got my portrait gun up there in the office there.
I'm talking about the sketch or anything.
Oh, I mean, you guys need to, yeah, book sketch at least of me.
Oh, excuse me.
Wow.
It's these things.
No.
It's a beautiful building.
How about the site? I know it's not, or maybe even the overhead. How about the overhead?
That.
Yeah. Yeah,
What about parcel?
go to the next one.
Yeah, I think it's.
Keep going. Yeah, this one. I mean, that one's good. We can see what we need to talk about on this. Cool. All right. So please present your project.
Brian Styler, we're looking at another cannabis dispensary in Pine Plains, 7723 South Main Street. The building's already almost brand new, completely.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I know someone's unmuted and they have a child and.
Oh, I'm
but-
sorry.
It's okay.
I got stuck on baby duty tonight. I'm really sorry, guys.
No worries. Oh, believe me, I understand.
I'll mute it for now.
Yeah, just mute it till you need to speak, please. Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, we're looking to do cannabis retail dispensary at 7723 South Main Street in Pine Plains. The building's already done. We're looking to put a freestanding sign in, and we'll use the same staff parking that those doors had there on the left side where I wrote HM as district. Just doesn't travel there. The outside of the building, we don't need any changes because it's all the lights already there. We think we can bring nice tax revenue to the town of Pine Plains. I currently and my partner are a dispensary owner in Red Hook. We're already delivering to Pine Plains like 15, 20 times a day. So Pine Plains is really losing out on that tax revenue. On that aspect alone, I can give you guys numbers on that. So yeah, I mean, we're looking to expand. I have kids in the Pine Plains School District. My wife is born and raised up here. I've lived up here for 8 years now. My background is operating engineer in the city. I got into the cannabis business. We started the process almost 2 years ago. We opened up right before Christmas. So it was a long drawn out process through the town of Red Hook state. But we're looking to keep moving and I see the value of Pine Plains and the tax revenue in the small town. And I think if we do come to this town, I think other people will come to this town and we could really revitalize Pine Plains. So I don't see much going on in Pine Plains now. I love this town. I feel it's school here. Even like the parks, the park isn't even that nice up here compared to the other parks around, so if we can get some tax revenue, maybe build the park up a little better. Yeah, so I just want to see where the board is at and how they feel about everything. And if whatever questions you guys have for me.
What would the operating hours be?
I submitted them to you guys. We were looking to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10 to 6, Friday, Saturday, 10 to 8, and then Sunday, 10 to 6.
Which goes against our zoning.
What does?
Stewart's is open till about late.
Stewart's is not a marijuana dispensary. Stand by. I forget the section. I did too many notes.
Stewart's is a retail store, which cannabis in the state of New York is a retail.
Okay,
store.
hold on. You're gonna look up the thing.
We have
Explain. Oh,
under our zoning, which was just passed, cannabis retail dispensary. Which is section 275-56-00. Subsection 5. All cannabis retail dispensaries shall limit their hours of operation from 8 AM to 8 PM, Monday through Saturday, noon to 5 on Sunday.
So how did that go against my hours? 10 AM to 6 PM and then 10 AM to 8 PM.
What was, you
Oh,
said
just
Sunday?
Sunday.
Sunday.
What was the time for Sunday?
Noon.
12
Noon to 5.
noon
Noon to 5.
Yeah, so I mean, we can move both hours. Deal.
Can you please pull up E code? What section is it? 275?
275-56. It's the last one in the special uses because we just added it.
And then also pull up parcel access too. I know I said not to, but now I changed my mind because I was trying to look at these things. Okay, all right, so operating hours, What exactly are the products? Like, how are they packaged? They're like-
Everything's prepackaged, vacuum sealed, no smell proof.
Oh, yeah.
Everything we're applying is already prepackaging. We are not packaging, manufacturing, growing, processing. We are simply retail, local farmers that we deal with. The cannabis people, cultivators, processors, we'll be getting it from them, already packaged.
So there'll be no odors
No
or
odors.
something there. Is there a bathroom in the,
There is a bathroom, but we weren't gonna make it public.
right, but you have employees?
Yes, for employees, yep.
Um,
And it's on the septic, it's on the septic.
how many employees?
We're planning on having 3 employees. But not on the same shift, so 3 total, probably 2 on at a time. Okay.
Oh, okay, 2 at a time.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gotta be, landscape to plan out.
All right, so I have some questions once we get this parcel access cool. Anyone else have questions at the moment? Okay, there. We were so long.
Close our eyes.
Thinking the storm might have opened up sooner than we thought. Want them like flag it out and we'll have to go down there.
Yeah. But you could just email it, so.
Just.
Well, maybe we should see what Dio.
Yeah, I mean, it's too, once they nailed it down. There's not gonna be any changes or anything. Bottom, no, no, up, down,
Back.
or whatever. No, the other one.
Other down.
The other down. There we go, right there.
There it is.
That's it. Okay, so I see over here, so there is a curb cut there on the left, and
Yeah.
that's where the parking is gonna be?
Yeah, that's where Old Jules have their staff parking.
Is that one big giant curb cut all the way across there?
Pretty sure it's just an entrance right there.
Just where that little
Where
gray.
the little
Where the
sliver
gravel is.
Yep.
And there's like bollards to protect the scale or something? And I mean, we need a sketch, like how the parking is gonna be oriented.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do?
Like 3 inches and
Ah. I'm sorry, what did it say here? Miss
crushed stone, and then
this.
oh, that's the old owner, and I'm saying like that's where they had their.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is any of these handicap?
I mean, I can make one of them handicap, yeah. I know it's 580 square feet, so I need
It's not.
3 parking spaces, and I have 6 there, so yeah, I can make one of them. And, yeah.
I take it, George, you haven't seen the parking stuff.
No, I mean, gonna be one of my comments would, again, read the board, how the board feels, but typically, the site plans are prepared on a survey. By an engineer. Usually in the town, that's been the policy. I believe the site plan rules kind of require it.
It's I'm not changing the parking though, that was already existing parking.
Right, but we need, there's certain, if you look in the site plan requirements of a submission. There are certain things that are required on it, and then we can waive some of those things if you ask us to.
Gotcha.
But it is usually on a official survey, or
You can go back. to
especially for a
Johnson,
business,
you know.
like, it's.
You can go back to Brendan Johnson, who did the survey.
Okay.
Ask him to help you out with that.
Yep. I mean, you guys keep a copy, can you?
If we can, yeah.
You have a copy of the regulation?
I mean, I read them online of Pine Plains regulation.
Yeah,
Sure.
so,
Um. I must say, I'm not a fan of where the sign is, that's the most important thing. With like pulling out there and everything, to have it on the ground, I think a sign, a shingle off the building
Would be better.
might be a better solution.
Suppose I'm fine with that,
Mm.
so.
Is there any light, existing lighting only or
Yeah,
any?
existing lighting currently up. He just finished that building not too long ago. I don't know if the lines spread off and everything, to be sure.
make it a good idea, maybe take a site visit out there today.
Yeah, that'll be good to go to. I actually talked to the planning board in Red Hook. And they said the process went fine.
Yeah.
And that
That's fair, yeah.
and there's been no issues since, with the operation, in the town with clients or whatever. All right, so now the sticky thing, let's pull up the E-code, please. So if we look at the E-code, 56 all the way down at the end of yeah, just keep scrolling.
It's the last
The
one.
last one.
Double on.
Double O.
No, I'm staring at you now.
It's fine, it's all right.
You can't go past.
There you
it.
go.
There you go. All right, so the one issue you have is there's a firehouse next door. And in section 3. Actually, what is that?
5 and
6. It's community, yeah, I guess 5 and 6. It is within 300 feet of the firehouse, and how that is measured is from the middle of the front door of both buildings. So we need an accurate measure, again, your surveyor person, we're gonna need an accurate measurement of exactly what that distance is. I did it on Google Maps, but obviously it's not official, it was something about 200 feet. So now if we look down, where is it? We're given leave to give, where does it say planning board has its discretion? Right. The planning board shall have the requisite power to vary these distance requirements in its site plan or special use process, provided such variation from the distance requirements does not adversely impact the health, safety, welfare citizens of the town of Pine Plains. So you'd be asking us does he have to ask us for that or?
Yeah.
Ask for a waiver, whatever that waiver had, we have one. Once we find out the distance, a waiver for X number of feet off the requirement away from the firehouse.
And we would contact the firehouse, see if they.
Yes, and we're gonna have to have a public hearing.
Right.
Is the post office included in that as a community facility or essential public service?
Is
What
it
is the
privately owned?
definition? I forgot. What, does it say
Cannabis-
firehouse?
No, a cannabis retail dispensary shall not be located and or operated within 300 feet of, in part, a community facility or a structural facility providing whether wholly or partially an essential public service.
It sounds like it would fit the firehouse.
What, the firehouse, what about the post office?
Okay, close to the post office?
No, across the street.
Closer to the post office than the firehouse,
Oh.
but that's,
Is it?
what is the definition of that? Oh, yeah. there you go.
Is there a definition?
Serves.
Like literally?
No, it's too far.
400, yeah, give or take.
Definition,
Yeah.
what these words mean.
I don't know, you have to look, see any definition. We don't have a particular definition section for that, but it would be the general, but. I would imagine we don't have a definition for that. So.
So we'd have to make a
Be up to
determination.
you to. I mean, you could have our our code enforcement officer make a decision on that recommendation.
Now everybody's looking to do. He's excited.
Go to a Red Hook store, check it out, make a
It's
decision.
across the street.
How close is it
To the what?
to the post office?
So roughly 100 feet door to door,
What?
roughly 100 feet.
Right across the street from the front door.
Well, we can ask.
The one in Red Oak is across the street from the town courthouse.
That's not it.
I know, I drove by and I saw, stopped to see what it looked like. You know, there was one there. Did you have any trouble with Red Hook on that?
It was not the fact that we were in front of their town hall, it was the fact that I think the town supervisor wasn't in the pro business and pro cannabis in that town. So that was the problem there. You're laughing, but look the guy up. But no, I mean, the planning board, the town board was good. It's the town supervisor, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can ask for
Just
the
ask for a
waiver,
waiver.
contact the post office and the firehouse and see, you know, what their input is on it and see what the public hearing said.
Oh, yeah, good luck hearing from the post office. And I don't know if the local guy even has like authority to.
Send it by mail.
Yeah,
Well, you actually went there.
um. So septic, right, I said something else and I lost it. What was it? What am I missing? There's something else on this. What were we talking about? Post office, shoot.
Firehouse.
Public hearing. What's that? Parking. Oh, right, lighting, we still talked about that.
Yeah. Signage, talking about.
Proof of licensure.
Yes, I mean, obviously that'll be, how does it work? Like you have to get approval first and then it's one of these things like every other one. They're pointing at us, we're pointing at them, so.
Do you have a license already?
I have one for that. I will have one for this one that I need.
You have to be approved by the
Yeah.
planning board.
That depends on my
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
one in Red Hook I had to hold for a year. The rent before I heard back from New York State.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
Sentiment
a
letter.
year to the date said.
All right, I remember now, so
They raised that.
now you take credit cards and stuff,
No, we're cash.
it's only cash. And that's because of what, federal laws?
Credit's not, we can take debit, but it's all the debit people like want you to like round up to the nearest $10. So if you spend $10 and $11, I gotta charge you $9, $9 more to give that back to you. So it's just
All right, so
sketchy.
obviously then security for both the product and
Yeah, well,
money.
New York State has all the laws for that. So hand that off to you guys.
Yeah, we'd like to see what regulations they require.
Why can't you do credit?
So it's not.
It's not federally.
The Schedule
It's
One
state law.
drugs.
Can't do it.
Starting at-
Federal government hasn't approved marijuana, so it's illegal.
Is that,
The state can do it.
they can just sell it?
Yeah, I deal with just the state.
Now, how's it work with taxes?
I get taxed by the federal government too, but I cannot write anything off. So as opposed to if you had a business and you're going to the,
They can tax you on it?
they're taxing me on it on my gross of whatever I sell. Yeah, they'll tax me on it, but I can't write anything off against it.
They're gonna tax
They'll
it.
still take. But they're not getting like, every charge, just.
Oh, this is, can we have this?
Yeah, I wrote that up for you guys.
Yeah, I'd like to send you that.
I guess maybe ethically the feds could come in and arrest them. No, but they just,
Um,
So what was the traffic like in Red Hook?
that's what happened to Rory out in California. Right? Those guys got arrested up. And then they dismissed all,
And of the
they dismissed all the
That has to be
charges, but
approved
they
by
all
our
got
own
arrested.
police department or the sheriff's.
where is that?
I can't make it up.
The security system.
Yes.
Ryan, will you be doing deliveries out of this location also?
Yeah, probably.
So you do delivery.
How do you do that? You
Delivery
have to pay you when you're.
So you can use like your bank account line
As well,
to
they
pay,
should.
so that's how that's. Yeah. Everything has to be paid for this.
Somebody's We're gonna deal with storage.
And I had to have the cops come in by security anyway, so.
Yeah, fully use it. It's legal.
And,
The state has
Was
to
it
sign off
police?
on my security.
Did he just start delivering? He must have been doing it. I don't know.
And how does it work with the town? You said that they get,
And we have to back it up
Revenue, but
for,
like-
you guys say 30 days up there, but New York State mandates you 45 days to back up all your cameras and surveillance. So I don't know who wrote that up there. And shall provide name, phone number, contact, yeah. And then we also have like emergency press buttons that go directly to the sheriff's office. We'll be putting into like what banks use. So yeah, everything in 10 will be done at the shop. And some.
You want this one?
and the garbage receptacle is just like a household one? Or
Yes.
Not a dumpster.
No, no dumpster. We're just throwing out like food products and whatever people eat during the day, and there won't be any cannabis products going into the garbage. Anything that gets like returned or is expired has to go back to the cultivators, so they come and pick it up and discard it for us.
You said the lighting won't change outside. And none of the security requirements require like crazy lighting.
All the cameras now are like,
Right.
yeah,
But yeah, well, the bank, the bank looked crazy.
Yeah.
Lit up like the sun. Warren, any questions?
No, just submit a site plan application. It doesn't require a special permit, right? Just a site.
I think this is a special use
Yeah.
permit.
yeah, I think it's.
Oh, it does require.
Yeah.
Okay, so submit the application and
And this is the application.
Yeah,
It just has to
so I
get
just have to
official.
get you the.
we have everything we need. We have the site plan.
We don't have the
Well,
second.
we need the
No.
official side, but he's got
I will-
like he's gonna have to get us, surveyor. Also, we need, well, is there a seeker for like, what is this? Is there?
Site plan, but these require seeker.
What's that?
Yeah, it requires like.
Yeah, but do we have a short form or something here? Did he do a EAF?
Yeah, it's gonna require a short. form.
whatever's in here, I don't think so.
So you need to do an EAF. The short form, if you go to the state website, or Tricia can send it to you.
Sure.
Please.
No problem. So this is the short one, you said?
Yes. And then once we have like this official, site plan. And then you have to ask us for those waivers. I guess we're gonna have to who's gonna reach out to we're just gonna notify the post office, or we need to?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can, before we act on the waivers, we can communicate with the post office and the fire department, see what they think. I'm sure there'll be a public hearing. We'll see what.
So you have to ask us for those two waivers.
So ask for the 2 waivers, the exact footage to the firehouse, the survey.
And to the post office.
Yeah.
Front, the middle of the front door. It's like
What's
the
the
liquor.
front door of
The front door of the firehouse is, I would say, is the one that's next, was it the ambulance bay on one?
On Lake Road, right in the middle of the building.
Yeah, right in the middle of the building. There's like a red steel door.
Under the.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the survey with the parking in it, and then the
Lighting.
EAF.
Yeah.
So what else did you say?
And lighting.
Lighting.
Make sure the lighting's in. If you look in the, in our site plan requirements, there are certain things that have to be on a site plan. The surveyor should be able to look at that and,
You can get the code online.
Yeah.
like lighting and landscaping, where the curb cuts are. What about it? This thing has existed forever, but I mean, is this the
I don't know what
intensity of
was there
use?
before,
It was a hardware store.
so.
This is
that's-
way
Well,
less.
this building was an office. The building in back was a.
Well, I'm just saying, so that curb cut, right, was.
Giant.
Yeah, so again, it's board, decision, change of use or intensity of use. So if it's retail to retail, it's not a change of use, but if you feel the intensity is going up.
It hasn't been used in like
if you
5
said it's
years.
not
Does that
going
matter?
up,
Does it matter that it hasn't been used, an operating concern in like
So
5 years?
to be safe, you can just, refer it for, right, what was that? County agency or state agency?
That's state.
State, so, again, that'd be a DOT review of that curb cut. Does it have curbing and stuff? Mm-mm. Well, then the products, so. Generally, that's their comment.
So you think it needs to be referred?
Vacant. In 5 years, you kind of lose your zoning status, you get the claim the retail to retail. So. it would be cannabis.
So you and I have to go to DOT and get that driveway approved.
The existing driveway.
Yes,
And again, they're gonna want to see the drawing that. The
Yeah,
site plan that.
we want
you're gonna
the
need brand-
site plan is done proper. Cool. And I think you're gonna have to look at that, make sure that parking is before,
Once I see it on a real site.
yeah, to see. Make sure that parking makes sense. Okay. And what is the rules about like a handicap spot?
Yeah, you gotta have to have handicap.
You have to have
spot.
one, right?
You have to have at least one, yeah, so one, it's usually 1 per 25 parking spaces, so it sounds like you only need one. Which would mean you would have a van accessible parking space. It was assigned accordingly. You have to be able to roll your wheelchair on it or something like that, so yeah, they prefer something hard. Like pavement, concrete, asphalt. Very compacted stone dust, I guess you could argue. Item 4, gravel.
That, which
generally
is what we
not.
just approved.
Yeah,
on
we
that
just
Yeah.
approved for the
Last.
Yeah.
celery.
Yeah, so I would say make sure it's on the building side to make your life easier.
Yeah.
If it's opposite, then you gotta have an aisle to it, so. Keep it on the building side.
Okay,
Yeah, so I can get the roll in for hopefully next meeting.
Yep.
So,
the septic, just a bathroom, that doesn't have to go to the very.
So usually, you're gonna have an employee and a customer back,
No, just
No customer,
employees.
just employee bathroom.
just an employee.
Is a grant required for handicap?
Well, the building has to be handicap accessible,
Oh, is the building handicap accessible?
it's not being shared accessible now.
so that's.
You have to do that.
That's a code enforcement officer question, but. But if it requires a ramp on the outside, it should be shown on the site plan. I don't know what the grades are, if a ramp or anything like that's required or not.
There's only one door right in the front
There's a door on the side too where the parking lot's go.
where the scale is.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a problem.
Hmm.
Is there a way to make it accessible? I mean, I don't know the building, but.
What's the
I don't
problem?
think they were trying.
Handicap?
Yeah, what's that?
I think they're in
Thank you.
the front door, we can like.
You think you can
That doesn't seem that way. But I can get somebody over there, yeah.
all right. So see if we can make that front door.
Yeah.
So that's
Use some pretty
a
flat.
lot of homework.
So it can be.
It's only 3 steps up.
Yeah,
So it's hard to do them, but.
Yeah, it's not a big step, yeah, it's 3 talking stuff.
But it's thin to the road.
DOT right away.
Yeah. You gotta make sure
On the
the
map.
survey. What's
Show
that?
you where that is.
It's one of those ones where you can go up front and the sides.
Right, but you have to make sure your surveyor checks where the DOT right of way is. Because they're not gonna want any like permanent structures
Yeah,
placed
yeah.
in.
They frown upon that.
I mean, it's really wide there. I can't, the road might, I know.
Some of the right of ways are insanely wide.
Yeah,
Really, more than 50?
Oh, they're always more than 50.
More.
Yeah, always.
so there's like 2 full, like parking lanes, right? On one on each side, right? At least 1.5.
But
All right, but yeah, obviously I haven't checked that.
yeah, it'll be on the survey for sure.
Cool. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, see you next month.
I'll see you next month.
Ed, anything else for us? I think we're good with Warren and George. Thank you, guys. I think we're good with you and George. You can go. We're good. We're just go home. Yes. We're
Got your time card, I'll sign it off.
Yeah. Well, the meeting is not over though. We have to do our minutes. Good night, everybody. And then thank you. Can everyone have a chance to review the March minutes? Does anyone have any changes that were not circulated?
Let's take a look. I'm sorry.
Can I have a motion to accept the March minutes as amended?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The March meeting minutes are approved.
What's your turn?
See
you next week. See you next week.
Does anyone have anything else? Ed, we have a question for you.
Question for you.
Sorry.
There's a building in Culver's Corners that's been worked on, the old church there.
Yeah.
Noticed that the door on the side has been open for about a month.
Okay.
And the pit is pretty, if anyone wanders in there, the pit has got fencing around two sides, but not right before that little house. And I just wondered if we should contact them and say, don't close the door.
How do you do that? Not a problem.
And Eddie and I talked about the Church Street house, the doctor. Just so
Yeah.
he's gonna go talk to them. When did we hear from them last? Then they give our official letter. Do you know when that was?
I can go back.
I feel like it was like June or
I
something.
just pulled that up. Oh, was it a year ago?
It is, I believe it was like June, but maybe not,
I'm talking about Patchen House, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
When did we hear from them last?
May 17th.
Okay, so it's time to hear from, and we might, I don't know, do we want them to like come in, talk to us?
Yes.
I think they need to come and talk to us. So
my contact.
Eddie's gonna contact them, you contact them and say, we need to come to the next one. They can appear on Zoom. But,
Yeah.
you know. But Eddie's gonna talk to them about the property maintenance and the safety. Yeah, we need an update on what's going on with the project.
They're there every day, or somebody is.
Like homeowners or like, I know the construction.
They're like
people are-
building. There's cars going in and out all the time.
But nothing's happened with the site. At least it appears nothing.
Not
Maybe
that,
out back.
Yeah.
in the
out
back,
front, yeah.
they have a pool on, like they're doing.
Alright, so you'll both hit them up.
Okay.
And we haven't heard from the industry standard people. I don't know what's going on with them. And what else? There's courses are about. I'm going to one in the next couple of weeks. So
Yeah.
keep an eye out for those. And with that, can I have a motion to adjourn the motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Janine, wait up 1 second.
Yeah.
Thank you.